Hey everybody, Jesse with American Beef Ranch. Thanks for stopping in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Check out the links in the description. Today we're talking about how fear has caused almost all ranchers to calve at the wrong time of the year. Right here in American Beef Ranch. Hey everybody, welcome back to the ranch. It's a very brisk, very cold day here, and I'm out here doing some chores, and I had a couple thoughts that I wanted to get out there into the world and let you know that fear is causing most ranchers to calve at the wrong time of the year. Okay, so I am a firm and absolute believer in calving on green grass in the spring, early summer. I fully believe in it, and I'm going to give you the pros and the cons of both sides so we can talk about both, but then I will obviously explain why spring calving, in my opinion, is superior. Now, I say fear. Fear plays a big role in a lot of things and why a lot of people aren't successful. Fear plays a role in why somebody may make a profit or not make a profit, or make a huge profit versus a little bit of profit. And when I say fear dictates what people do, what I mean by that is that there's certain factors in the world that people, especially commercial cow producers, they're worried about and they're trying to do and they're trying to meet. And with them being worried about those things, they do certain things that are not beneficial to the overall health of their herd and the overall longevity of the cattle that they have in their operation. When I talk about longevity of cattle, these cows have been bred for specific purposes for so many years over and over in the commercial market that the typical commercial cow is now lasting hopefully 5 years. A 5-year-old cow is no good anymore. These cows should be able to breed to the age of 14. They are totally capable of doing that, and unfortunately, even in the improved commercial market with all these wonder cattle, they're not able to do that. And there's a couple of things that they do managerially that cause that. They've created cattle, first off, that are not good at what cattle do. But second off, the way that they, and their timeline and how everything is set up is not beneficial to them. The calves that are born in the winter, that come out on the ground, are hitting a really big temperature differential. Sometimes, 60 degrees plus. It's middle of February. This is prime calving time. We've got snow coming down now. This is prime calving time for most commercial producers in south central Idaho. And I can tell you right now, those calves are coming into a 90 to 100 degree temperature differential with the wind advisory that we have right now. That's not a good idea. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, it just doesn't seem smart. Okay, that's number one. Number two, with that cold air that those calves are going to start to breathe in, you can have respiratory issues. You can get respiratory infections. Those infections can cause, a lot of money on the vet side of things. As far as the cows go, cows are already difficult enough to handle when the weather's beautiful and sunny and 75 degrees outside. Everything in the cold makes it so much more difficult to handle cows. Also, for cattle, you're going to have additional feed. They're already going to need additional feed because they're in their third trimester and they're lactating now. So they're lactating, so they need more additional feed. But then every degree below 32 degrees, your cow needs 1% more feed to meet her daily needs than she would typically. If she's wet, every degree below 60 degrees, she needs another at least 1% of feed to make up that difference. So you've got a really bad combination here. We've got 0 degree temperatures. We've got a cow that's lactating. So that's going to increase, not only double your feed that you need to have them survive, it can triple it. Maybe even more. You can add that much more feed to your feed bill. That is a terrible thing for your bottom line. Another thing you got to consider is that usually it takes a lot more infrastructure to calve in the winter, whether it's calving barns or sheds, lean-tos. Even this simple lean-to here that we have for this heifer is $3,500. Okay, that's just to start. You add these costs up, and there is no way that you can turn a profit on cattle if you continue to add costs up like this. It's just not going to work, especially if you're a commercial producer. You really need to think about these costs and consider sliding that calving window back. I said earlier that I think fear dictates a lot of what we do in the cattle industry, and here's what I mean by that, okay? So we have these commercial cattle, and we expect them to be a certain weight by a certain date so that we can sell those to some feeder or backgrounder so they can get the calves a certain size. You know, and this is actually proven this year that sometimes even lighter calves are worth more money. You're able to grow, you know, more calves per acre. We could go on about that for days. But the thought is that the fear of a buyer or somebody some arbitrary system that the commercial system is totally dependent on, because there's only 4 packers that have most of the system, those people are totally dependent on what those buyers say that they want and need. So if you're a commercial producer and they say, I want this much weight on these calves by this date, guess what? They want them bigger and fatter by the time they show up, by the time you get to the end of the summer grazing season. So yeah, they want you to calve them in the middle of February, and they want you to take that risk, and they want you to deal with that problem. And you're scared because if you don't do that, you may not have somebody to sell to. But that itself is the lie. You as a commercial producer are always going to have a place to sell your cattle. It does not matter where you go, but you're going to have a place to sell your cattle. There is people that will buy your cattle. And here's what I'm going to also tell you. If you take the time and the energy to upgrade your cattle to what they should be and they're high quality, there's always going to be a demand for high quality cattle. And you shouldn't worry about calving in this terrible ass weather, have calves freezing to the ground and all sorts of other things like that. And just to meet some buyer's need to do what they need to do. Don't worry about them. You do what's right and what's best for your cattle. And that's calving in the spring. Okay, I think I can get off my soapbox now. And if you think I'm hyper or excited or bagging on somebody, I'm not. I'm super passionate about this. My family's kept cattle in the spring for years, and we've grown cattle on grass for 15 years, and it's a completely viable option. And guess what? If you still want to be a cow-calf producer and just sell your calves off at the end of the year, there is cattle that will still wean a 500-pound calf in October and November if they're born in April and May. You just got to find those cattle. You got to quit buying piss poor genetics. You got to quit buying what every freaking seed stock producer tells you is going to be wonderful whiz bang crap when it's not. Okay, I'm just super passionate about this. I want you guys to be successful. The cattle industry as a whole, even if I'm a grass-fed and finished direct-to-consumer sales guy like I am, the cattle industry as a whole still needs to evolve for the next 50 years. We're going to have to adapt and overcome some challenges. And I'm encouraging you, if you calve in the winter, try calving in the spring, or talk to somebody in your area that calves in the spring. I know there's not a lot of them around in my area. There's probably a handful compared to, 30 or 40 other people that calve in February. Right now, they are calving. I drive by them as I go to town or go do whatever. I drive by 1, 2, 3, 4. I drive by at least 5 on my way out to get to the highway. So I know you guys do that, but here's the deal. When you calve in spring and you calve on green grass, first off, the cow's got better nutrition, so she's going to produce better milk, and so that's going to translate into a better calf. That calf is able to get into a temperature differential, and it's able to wake up faster and get moving. Also, when you calve on green grass, they have a chance. If there's grass there, they can lick the grass and get dew or moisture off of that grass and use that for nutrition also. It's also good for this calf. So this calf here, I feel bad for. He's not going to be able to see any green grass. He's already picking at this hay that we've been feeding. He's not going to be able to see any green grass for another 2 months, and he's probably going to be 3 months old before he ever sees a blade of green grass, or grass in general, and that's really sad to me. That's not how cattle are designed to work. Cattle are designed to thrive on grass. The right cattle, even though the industry steered it in a different direction, will thrive on grass, and they will make a huge profit for you, and they will continue to thrive for years. I think you should take a good look at your cattle, your operation, when you're calving, and make sure it's the best thing you can do to help make your ranch profitable. And if you don't believe me, there's 100 other videos out there that tell you why you've got to calve in the winter and why you should calve in the spring. But I'm telling you, you're going to have to make some changes, because if you keep doing the same things, you're going to end up hurting yourself in the long run. Thanks for watching. That's all I got. See you later.